Hello everyone, my name is Chitpon. I am the Operations Director from Shelf Drilling. I take care of Southeast Asia operations. Today is a great honor and I would like to take the opportunity to thank PTTEP for inviting Shelf Drilling to share our best practices in human performance in the 2023 SSHE forums. In Shelf Drilling, we always strive to create an environment where nobody gets hurt, with the safety and operational performance at the forefront of everything we do. Safety is our core value and it's not our priority because priority could be changed, but core value won't. We are not going to compromise the safety of our personnel with anything. We are obliged to keep our people safe at all times. So I'm going to give everyone a big picture of how in Shelf Drilling, how we apply the human performance to take our incident-free operation into the next level. And I'll show you, I'll give you the idea of what we did in the past and what we are doing now. And then I will pass on the presentation to our HSE manager, Kunapiwat, to dive into the detail of our human performance policy. Okay, let's start with what we did in the past in the human performance in terms of safety. Whenever an incident happened in the past, we always set up a investigation team and then do the investigation. And if anyone did anything wrong or did any non-compliance, we always punish them, and hoping that doing those punishment will prevent the reoccurrence of an incident. We often found that the amount of manpower and time to dig into the root cause of those incidents is very time consuming, and we need a lot of manpower. And whatever we found is always equipment related or procedure related or people competency and require more training. We never really touch on the human behavior. We never touch, or we seldom really touch on the safety culture of the rig. And the main reason, because everyone knows when we talk about those touchy subjects, it always have people involved, and it means that people may get punished. So everyone wants to protect their team, and everyone wants to protect their teammates. That's why we never really dig down into the root cause of the majority or the big amount of our incident. That's why you see that incident always come back after a period of time. Sometimes we get lucky, it may last for 10 months, 6 months incident free, and then we have another recordable. So by doing this kind of blame and punish approach, then I never really achieve safety and operational efficiency at the same time. And the best I can do, I cannot really run my whole operation, means that combine every rigs more than 12 months without recordable incident. Okay, so now we move to the new way of doing things, taking the human performance into consideration. A couple of years ago, one of my customers approached me and saying and introduce a learn and improve culture. What does it mean is that we take into the consideration of human performance. People always make mistake. So if we keep punishing them, then we won't go that far. So the new way of thinking is that instead of punishing people, why don't we let those people involved, or even those people that are directly involved in the incident, set up a learning team, and then let them tell us what could be improved, what went wrong, why did they do such a thing that to cause an incident, and then we can put mitigation and a safeguard in place to prevent the reoccurring. I was not convinced initially, but then the result was amazing, right? Because at the end, I just said, okay, I'll give it a try. And what we found was that we don't really need a lot of people. We don't need a lot of time to dig into the root cause of most of the root cause of all the incidents. Because now people know that they are not going to get punished. They are more than willing to step forward to tell us what went wrong, what kind of unsafe behavior, what kind of unsafe culture on board their installation. Or even sometimes they're reluctant, but the investigation team are confident and comfortable enough to really just straightforward and point into those directions. And once you dig into the human behavior and the safety culture of the rig, you really can expand the scope, and you really get into the deep and the root of the incident. So the result, compared to learn and punish, earlier, now we have a sorry, not learn and punish, blame and punish. Now we are using a learn and improve. The result is amazing. Okay, so I have achieved a combine for the entire operation of 4 weeks, more than 20 months or 20 months of TRIR free. So meaning that I have zero TRIR of the entire fleet for 20 consecutive months. And we also found that the severity of the incident that happened is a lot less, and the frequency itself is a lot less as well. And also I can also achieve my operational target at the same time. Okay, and all these things happen those 20 consecutive months TRIR free operations. It happened at the beginning of the COVID and run through nearly at the peak of the COVID, and with multiple operational border shutdown, right? And also in the middle of the ramping up the Gulf of Thailand operation from other operators or several operators, with a lot of personnel shortage, personnel movement. At one point, I have like 35% on the rig, 35% of SSC on the rig. So having all those results, I'm confident that taking human performance into account works, and we are on the right track. So I hope that the example I have raised would support my claim. And thank you very much. Now I would like to pass on to Mr. Apiwat, our HSE manager, to get into more detail of our human performance policy. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Apiwat or Happy. I'm the HSC from Shell Drilling, and I would like to thank Khun Chitphon and PTTEP to give me this great opportunity to share the human performance in action in Shell Drilling. First of all, I would like to share this quote from the UK HSC regarding the human factors in management of major accident hazard. So from this quote, you can see that every single incident could be managed if we manage the individual human factor correctly. Let's walk with me. Human factors is a company policy that put in place from the planning process, or in other words, get it right at first. So that including in the business or operational activity, we believe in the key concept that no job could be done without any individual to get the job done and get the good result. If we manage that correctly, we should get the safe and effective outcome. If not, could be leading to undesired outcome or result. Individuals are different for always. That's common, we know. Depends on what they think, what the perception, or what the background knowledge they have. So in this picture, either you see 7 or 5, 6 or 9, depends on all of those. So this is how we put together to get people management at first. For easy to understand, I would like to share with you with the three concepts like the individual factors, job factors, and organization factor that put together in human performance that will be explained easier. In the individual factors, there are three key areas that I would like to share with you to make sure that we can drill down to some action like competency, skill, and personality. Getting it right at first, the human factor or human performance has been putting together to the OJT training or HSC OJT training. Why? Because we want to get people on the same basic knowledge before we get started in the health and safety in scheduling. The rule of task planning or CASE, the acronym. This is the pocket guide that every individual have it. Very handy, and we start to do any job, they pick it up and discuss among themselves to see that the case, right, the C, do we comply to what we are going to do to the rule, regulation, procedures, okay? And the authorization, ask themselves that are we authorized or using any authorized person in there? So we have authorized operator list for every job we do. So they don't have to doubt, they check if not in the list, what else we do. The knowledge, experience, and skill, this put all together to ask themselves similar questions that we have been trained or experienced to do that or not, right? And 5 questions, of course, they should be come to yes, they all have, proceed, do it. Otherwise, if any answer no, stop the job, get the supervisor involved, make a clarification to make sure that we are good to go. So this is very simple and make people adjust the human performance or human factors. So case, stop the work before we proceed if we have any no in those questions. There's always more to learn about the individual training, like a skill development to see that either they're in the knowledge base, rule base, skill base. So everything is different, and how can sometimes it become the same. So understand that they can manage themselves or the relation to the group better, and the personality as well. Like if anyone have the more doer, what they behave, what they look like, socializer, thinker, or relator, right? This kind of the learning help people to work together to understand more each other because of people always different. So we understand the difference of people to make sure the communication or the instruction will go very clear and to everyone. The job factor, I will emphasize to you about the nature of task and role of the procedure. The perfect execution of PBAP process is very important for the job factor. So we get to the plan, brief, execution, and debrief process. First of all, the planning process or the work planning tool or control of work, if you will, right, is we put together plan ahead for the job of the day with the procedure and resource to make sure that we have a good procedure and enough resource to people to do the job. That's in the planning. So come to the brief. This is the engagement opportunity for supervisor to engage with the crew because of the planning by the supervisor and the job executed by the crew. So supervisor go to do the three-way communication. For three-way communication, explain you more later. That to help people to understand or engagement and reduce the gap between the workforce and the supervisor. The execution process, the TBRA or task-based risk assessment, that we have a comprehensive to tell the step and hazard and how to reduce that. So when joining with that activities, we know exactly that how people understand about the risk reduction or risk management. correctly to the procedure TBIA we have. And another tool that we call the sustainable verification and validation. So this is a cross-functional or the supervisor or midline supervisor process that we have the protocol to make sure that going out to do the job and engage with the crew, to review with the crew to understand that every job we do, we need to have a safeguard, and the safeguard should be in place and of course functioning. Otherwise, everything will be jotted down to review to make sure that we can do that better. And of course, nothing is more than testing people the knowledge by conduct a drill. So hand injury free drill or whatever drill, we always use that not to pick up the mistake, but to try to educate the people like on the job training to make sure that what in the classroom they take on board on the job site. And lastly, this is important thing that for those that during the day or the hours of work, they capture everything and come to debrief with the supervisor. So supervisor will learn this from the beginning until the end of the task, and supervisor again we take this to discuss with the daily work planning meeting to make sure that the last 24 hours we have something to learn and share among the other supervisor in that work planning meeting, including the client and the business partner as well. The organization factor, I have three key important things to share with you. First, the communication, the system and procedure, and the leadership. The system and procedure is another important organization factors that I want to share with you. We have procedure that review every year with the smart feedback system that every time anybody found that the procedure may not up to date, send the feedback to the corporation. So we put together, review and update that for use. However, in Thailand, we specify on the core policy. In this four core procedures or policy like timeout for safety, hand-free operation, zone management, and line of fire, right? The history feedback, we found that if we manage this key procedure correctly, we could reduce the risk of day-to-day operation. So the timeout for safety, how can we get that done correctly? We use drill. We have the timeout for safety drill that educate people that if we tell the people in the class that you have a right to conduct the stop work drill, we don't conduct that at site. We doubt that nobody can do it. And hand-free operation as well, we put that into the drill as well. We have policy to put that the clean handle you can touch, the rest of the red equipment you cannot touch it, right? The soil management and the line of fire, this all kind of thing that the four key procedure that successfully achieved by conducting drills. Another effective tool in the organization factor I would like to share is a safety conversation card. It is whatever you call, like a BBS, unsafe condition report, unsafe act report, or safety engagement tool, all kind of thing. We put that together into the database and encourage people to do that once every day. So by doing that, every day people will spend time to engage with each other, talk about safety. Yeah, that is the concept. And we use that report to review in the day-to-day operation meeting. So why the group can learn together that in the last 24 hours we have something to learn and to follow and something pick up that we never found before. And this is a good tool. And the outcome of that, we also put into a lot of recognition awards from Thailand or from the corporation. So this is the benefit of helping people to recognize and engage with each other, adding value. And the three-way communication that I mentioned to you before, and this is we encourage people to talk in the three-way communication because of the different personality, right? So when the communication got the clear message, we have to direct the message and ask the listener to repeat the message and confirm that is true. So the understanding the same thing is very, very important in terms of health and safety. The organization leader is very important. So we have the event called Safety Leadership Training, or SLT. When we have a new project or new client, we set up the SLT and we gather all the personnel on board, including contractor, business partner, client, and our contractors. All together set up a day-long event and gathering all the leaders from the company and the client come together to share experience, share incident, share learning from the past to make sure everybody come on board to one team, one goal. So leadership in this particular doesn't mean that people have the management position or supervisory position, but including that everyone joining this one have to leave this workshop with understanding that how can I be a good leader. So this is another event that they put together to the organization factors. This comes to the last part of my sharing about the human improvement in action. So I would like to conclude the individual, job, and organization factor. First, we have to believe in human improvement. Because of the human improvement, we believe that there is a way to bring us to sustain the incident-free goal and shift the culture from blame, punish to learn and improve. Then build the system. You can do that simultaneously. Build a simple and robust system as well as build the leadership. And lastly, importantly, that sustain the incident-free journey. Say incident-free journey is you don't have a silver bullet to just have one thing fix all. You have to make sure that your journey every day is going to be based on the human improvement to make it safe every day. So in terms of health and safety, to get people going home safely every day is not a secret. I'm willing to share with you anything you want, but if you have a chance to expose with our people on the rig, export and ask them, learn from them. So this is how we get together to get to the incident-free culture. Thank you for your time.